Today is the first day of Black History Month, and I want to thank all of the Senate Democrats for co-sponsoring the resolution to replace Lewis Cass with Coleman A. Young at the National Statuary Hall. And I look forward to moving it expeditiously through this chamber. Just a couple reasons as we think about this moment. Mayor Coleman Young was a member of the Constitutional Convention. He was the first Black mayor of the city of Detroit, but he was also a Tuskegee Airman. He was someone who served with incredible distinction and represented our state in some of the same discussions that we are talking about now. He was a fierce advocate for the UAW and producing automobiles here domestically at a time where we were losing that space, not to the South or to another state, but internationally. And it's just really a pleasure to start Black History Month thinking about someone who prioritized Black people, Black communities, but Detroit, the state of Michigan, the auto industry, and was a huge believer in democracy. So when we talk about the House Un-American Committee and the stain that it had on our national consciousness, our country, and this state, Coleman A. Young was one of the people who boldly stood back and said, no, this is unacceptable and we're going to push back against it. And in this moment, in this time where we've spent so much time talking about what should come down and who we should not be recognizing, it's important that we value and prioritize who as a state we are lifting up, because that is a big role that we have as a legislature. And I hope that we continue to think about who should be recognized, not just who shouldn't be. And so briefly, I will talk a little about Lewis Cass. Many of you know that I'm also Muskogee Creek. What you may not know is that my family's ancestral land was in Georgia. And the Trail of Tears moved my entire family from Georgia to Oklahoma. That entire process was led by Secretary Cass. He was an ardent supporter of states being able to choose whether or not to become slave states, which basically meant expansion of slavery. He was the architect and the enactor of the Trail of Tears. And he is someone who, when Michiganders and people from all across the country go to our nation's capital, they see represented with a line that says Michigan. And I am grateful that as a chamber, as a legislature, we are going to do the work necessary this year to ensure that when people go to the nation's capital, they see a national hero. They see someone who was a Tuskegee Airman. They see someone who fought against McCarthyism. They see someone who fought for and won battles to ensure that domestic auto production remained here in this state, in our community. Someone who was a fierce advocate for mass transit and equality, someone who pushed back against police brutality well before it was popular. But most importantly, I'm excited that Michigan will be the first state in the nation to send a Black man to National Statuary Hall, and that we as a chamber, as a legislature, start that process at the beginning of Black History Month. Because too often we say that representation matters. Too often we talk about what we should have done or how we could have done it. But today we are making a tangible, real step that I am grateful for. Because forever, Democrats have chosen our person and Republicans have chosen theirs. And every single Democrat has co-sponsored this resolution. And I look forward to us moving forward through this process.